All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the CSRN weekly podcast or our weekend review. I'm glad that you're able to join us tonight. What we're going to do, well, as we always do, we're going to put a 5-minute timer up so that we get a chance to share the podcast, and then we'll get it started. All right, we are back. Greetings, greetings. This is the CSRN, our weekend review podcast. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he and him. And today, CSRN, we're in our 7th year. I'm one of the co-founders. I'm also a registered and active member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. And 7 years ago, Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, both of them are active on Facebook. They had the idea that just ordinary people could speak truth to power. They didn't have to necessarily be lettered or learned, just ordinary people. And they had this thing called Community Solidarity Day, held right at the Frederick Douglass to confront and discuss police brutality in our community, along with other things. And here we are 7 years later. So shout out to Mike Leonardi, Jabril Bey. Today, what am I wearing for those who may be visually impaired? Today, I have on my thick-rimmed brown glasses from Optical, Twixt in Between. So if you see Kristen Moncrief, she drives the Optical bus. Pull up to her, let her know you want a awesome pair of glasses like Brother Washington. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting and protecting all Black bodies, no matter the loss, no matter the gains. And this is the headquarters of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. What I want to do right now before we get to our guests, we have the very important guest today. We're going to be talking about Kwanzaa and really what it means to our community. And we're going to be talking about how we'll be celebrating that this year. Before we do anything, I want to read our mission statement. As a grassroots organization, it's important to have a root, something that you know that day in, day out, this is what we stand for. And if you don't have a mission statement, it's easy for any organization or group to be co-opted. If you don't have one, somebody's going to bring you one. This is the CSRN mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Network, Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We use tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive community-based events that help to foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, educators, law enforcement, etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of creed, class, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that's a quote within our mission statement by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Before we move forward, I wanted to read a statement from a news article that I was reading earlier today regarding our sister O'Shea Jones. And as in the back you can see, we've got our signs here: hands off O'Shea, stand with O'Shea. And her lawyers are seeking a jury trial for the Olympian. Earlier, what we wanted was for the city of Toledo to drop all of the charges. We didn't want her going to court one day. We didn't want her to tied up in the legal system. We wanted all of the charges dropped. However, it appears that the city of Toledo is not doing that. So the lawyers seek a jury trial for Olympian O'Shea Jones. And this is from WTVG's website. And it says that the attorneys for Olympian O'Shea Jones of Toledo want the case to go before a jury of her peers. It says that new filings in Toledo Municipal Court shows Jones' attorney are demanding a jury trial instead of a bench trial. Her lawyer tells ABC 13 they have no plans for a plea and still believe the charges against her could be dropped. And that's what I'm hoping for too. So for the city of Toledo, this sister has brought so much positive notoriety to the city, and she deserves justice. It goes on to read, Jones is facing charges including resisting arrest, obstructing official business, and failure to disperse after police say that they were trying to break up what they called a large scene of people participating in a course of disorderly conduct. Well, if you listen to all of those that were there, O'Shea was the one that was trying to bring peace to whatever was going on. She didn't start it. She tried to bring peace. However, she ended up getting caught up. The police also hit her, and they showed the police body cam to show that. So the city of Toledo could do justice by dropping the charges so that we don't need to move forward in this and show justice to the sister. Hey, before we bring our sister mother Gordon on, we're going to take a short break. But what I wanted to also say is every week we do our Nguzu Saba, or our Kwanzaa word of today. And today's Kwanzaa word is Kuumba. And that means creativity. And that means to do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Mother Gordon. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network. It is our weekly podcast. We will be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back, and those two short commercials, one was the Final Call newspaper, and we're going to process a couple of stories from that. One is regarding Mutulu Shakur that's going to be released from prison soon, and the other is dealing with what they call buck breaking. And if you've been watching the news like I've been watching the news, it appears that system of punishment is happening with our black brothers in sports and entertainment. However, I've seen nothing happen to Brett Favre and others like him. So be looking out for those Final Call stories that we're going to be sharing soon. Hey, listen, right now, it's all about Kwanzaa 2022, 2023. And today I have the chairperson or chairwoman or the CEO, whatever we call her. We just do whatever she's told. It's Mother Diane Gordon. Let's see if we can bring her from the green room. All right, Mother Gordon, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right. First, thank you for being on today, and for those who are going to that are watching this now, and those who are going to be watching this later. We have quite a few people that watch them later. Hundreds of people tune in, either listening in their car or at work instead of working, but that's okay too. All right. For the people that are watching who may not know who you are, who are you, and why is Kwanzaa so important to you?
Well, first of all, I am a wife, mother, and a community activist. And the reason why I think Kwanzaa is so very important is because we were not taught our true history. To empower our people to understand who they are and whose they are will make a big difference in how we act with one another, how we love one another, and how we communicate with one another. And it is very important that we take the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, and utilize them throughout the whole year and not just at Kwanzaa time.
All right. So I've been a part of the Toledo Kwanzaa House for a few years, right?
About 10 or 12.
All right, about 10 or 12. So I'm not new, but in my early years, Mother Gordon, I had fell into the misconception of what Kwanzaa is. And one of the frequently asked questions is Kwanzaa another religion? Because some people may not want to participate because they think it's a religion. Do you mind talking about that?
Kwanzaa is not a religion, it's a cultural celebration. And one of the things that we try to instill into our everyday learning and teaching of the Nguzo Saba is that when we think about, am I an African? You're an African because you were brought from Africa and then put in this country. So why aren't you? If you were an apple tree and it growed in Zimbabwe, when they came and planted it here, it still was an apple tree. So it doesn't change what it is or who it is. So we try to instill to be proud of your heritage and understand that you come from a rich history and a very, the customs and culture is always going to be with you. And what we want to do is instill it into our young people.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Another frequently asked question that I get is can people of all faiths come to the Kwanzaa celebration, or is it just for Christians? Is it just for Muslims? Because people ask me that. Could you answer that?
Kwanzaa is for everyone because we're talking about unification. We prefer and always look to do our people and teach them first. And so one of the things about it, we have, as a group, we have went to the non-Centurion church.
Right.
We went to Seventh-day Adventists. We've been to Catholic and parochial schools. We have traveled all over to educate our community and other communities on what is the purpose of celebrating Kwanzaa. And it's not to replace Christmas.
Okay.
You can celebrate Christmas. You can celebrate any holiday. But what we want to do is always remember to celebrate us.
That's great.
Celebrate us. Celebrate our rich history and our heritage and our customs, that our children can be proud of what we've done and building America and also the African nation. So we are very, very important in passing that information on to our children.
All right. So having this Kwanzaa celebration doesn't mean that we hate another culture or anybody else. This is just us celebrating each other. Am I right?
Right. And now, do we ask the Jews that? Do we ask the Islamics that?
No, ma'am.
Do we ask any other culture? Why would you want to celebrate your event? So
Right.
no, we're going to celebrate our culture and our rich history. And I think during the Nguza Saba throughout the whole year, not just during Kwanzaa, it has an impact on us learning to pull together.
Right. After last year, we had our Kwanzaa celebration online, and that was one of the first times, maybe the first or second time that we've ever had Kwanzaa online. And afterward, those of us at CSRN, we wanted to incorporate the Nguzo Saba within all of our podcasts. So we'll always have a Nguzo Saba word of the day. Today's was Kuumba. Next week, I think they're going to have, I don't want to say,
Yeah,
we're going to have
yeah.
Imani, and it goes on and on. That way we can experience the principles and keep it alive beyond January 1st. My next question is, look, I found out about Kwanzaa maybe a few years ago. When did you find out? Was it right after? Right after?
Well, hey, let's go back about 50 years.
Oh, man.
Okay, is that my cousin was teaching African studies up at Ohio State University, and that's when I first met Malana Karinga.
Wow.
At that time, we were also doing an African work study group, and Stokely Carmichael was one of those that we were sitting around studying, and to the importance of knowing our history. And so once he showed us and talked to us about the Nguza Saba, I thought it was very interesting and important that I share this information with my family, my friends, and then the community, that we could come together and learn from each other and build a better community, a better education for our children, and also give them the truth on our history.
All right. So, why do you think it's important when they have this thing called multiculturalism where you can just learn about everybody? Why do you think it's important for our young people and some of us old people? We act like we don't know too sometimes. Why do you think it's important for us to learn about our history and learn about ourselves, Mother Gordon?
Well, what about the contributions that we've made? Many of the things that were invented by us. And so we need to understand that America would not be America without us. And many of the things that were given to the slaves taught them to be innovative, to invent ways to make their jobs easier, to preserve the food that they had, which was little, and also to take and learn how to keep ourselves warm with making of quilts. Today, there are so many things that it was brought to America, but also inherited from our understanding and our history as we lived in Africa and also had to come to America to survive.
Right. Now, that leads to the next question. I don't know why they picked me to ask all these questions, but I'll do it, and then I'm glad that you're here so that I can ask you. So, for anyone that has any doubts or misunderstandings about Kwanzaa, I'm talking to the person that may have celebrated it longer than anyone else in Toledo. When people say, why do you keep bringing up the past? Why can't we just forget about the past? What are some of the things that should be said?
So you don't repeat the past. It's supposed to be a learning experience. If you did that yesterday, are you going to do the same wrong thing tomorrow?
Wow.
If it didn't if it didn't change anything. So once you look at the past and see where you made your mistakes or where you not coming up with ways to benefit our
Right.
people,
That's
then
right.
you want to change that strategy and come up with a new strategy to help build and not tear down. So when we think about the Nguza Saba, the seven principles where we collectively come together to rebuild our community, to encourage our young people to learn that if we can build pyramids, we
That's
can
right.
also build a building today. So we are encouraging and influencing by understanding our past, but also to measure what needs to be improved to make it better.
Right. Hey, I've got one question, another question, and we're going to take a short break because I want to show a short clip for Wasion Wellness and Recovery Center. That's in Wasion, Ohio, and we show their clip. Um, People also ask me, well, didn't Kwanzaa, didn't this whole thing come from Africa? And people say, why should we celebrate something that a guy from overseas invented? What would you say to people that ask that question?
First of all, you're misleading your people
Well,
because he didn't come from Africa. Dr. Malana Karinga was a professor at the University of California
you hear
who
that?
went to Africa to learn the culture and to learn the history of our people. And when we were having the 60 riots, he said, what better way to change the environment and change the attitude of our people by indoctrinating them with the principles that we use in the village. It takes a village to raise a family. Everyone is a part of it. So he took those seven principles and utilized them in America. But if you go to Africa, there is Kwanzaa means the harvest.
Okay,
That's something that they're doing.
okay, that's
It
beautiful.
wasn't because he came from off the water, or no, that wasn't like
I heard
that.
too that it came up. Yeah, I back in the day, probably thought some of these things too, and I'm so glad that maybe 12 years ago that I first met you at Southern Missionary Baptist Church, right around the corner from
Yes,
that on Indiana, and our minister at that time, his name is Charles Muhammad.
Charles Muhammad.
He said, listen, I want you to check this out, and I'm like, well, it's a Kwanzaa. I don't even think we we do that, but man, I think that seeing you there and then seeing you at Robinson Junior High School, I was blown away. I'm like, who are these people and where did they come from? All right.
We are your brothers and sisters that wanted to educate you.
Yeah, it was hard. I was there.
Or I say, or re-educate you to
Absolutely.
what the Nguza Saba meant to our community and to our kids. And one of the things about it, I think I get a real big kick out of people when they don't know, and we're able to do it in love to share our knowledge with them, and they can share their knowledge with us. Even with the questions, it's so important that we do answer the questions that people have about Kwanzaa. And so December 26th, this year, we'll be at the Frederick Douglass Center, and we will go for 7 days. And we have our Toledo Kwanzaa House Committee, who has a day that everybody wants to come and share and be a part of. And they have wonderful speakers and performers. We have our food trucks, uh, cooks there. We're going to have our health agencies there. We're going to have our Lucas County Children's Services. And we have our young people who are really going to be showing out this year. And we have 13 cultural exchange students who are going to be speaking from all over. We have 13 countries that will be speaking this week. And
All right.
we have our culinary program kids who are going to be performing some food for us.
All right. I want you to come back because I've got a flyer that I want to put up for that, but we want to take a short break. I want to come back and really let people know that this is happening, where it's happening, and who's all involved. So can you hang tight with me, Mother Gordon?
Yes, I can. Always.
All right, family, this is the CSRN, our podcast weekend review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN, our weekly podcast or our podcast week in review. And right now we're talking about Kwanzaa 2022-23. It's happening. We have in the green room Mother Diane Gordon, who is the head of Kwanzaa House. What I wanted to do, because we mentioned the documentary From Hebrew to Negro, and we're going to be making some changes on that. But I want to lift some words from the Final Call newspaper. This article is called Buck Breaking the Black Man, a Jewish Tradition. And it starts off saying that by now we should all understand buck breaking. Indeed, black men of influence, fame, and notoriety, such as Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, Lakeith Stanfield, Nick Cannon, Deshaun Jackson, Ice Cube, P. Diddy, Steven Jackson, and Allen Iverson have all learned that the buck breaking process, so essential to the slave system, is still a standard operating procedure of today's Black-Jewish relationship. Blacks and Jews enforce their power. Whites and Jews enforce their power over black men they enslave by applying extreme torture in the form of whipping, rape, dismemberment, and murder in front of other slaves, are aiming to terrorize them all into full submission. Writer Frederick Law Olmsted traveled to the South in the mid-1800s, observing the wickedness of the American slavery system. He wrote, "If a laborer on a plantation should contradict his master, it may often appear to be no more than a reasonable precaution for his master to kill him on the spot. For when a slave has acquired such boldness, it may be evident that not merely in his value as property seriously diminished, but the attempt to further use him at all as property, the whole white community. If I let this man live and permit him the necessary degree of freedom to further useful to me, he will infect with his audacity all my Negro property, which will be correspondingly more difficult to control and more correspondingly reduced in value. When one of the 50 enslaved Africans on the Kentucky plantation of Lilburn Lewis, Thomas Jefferson's nephew, broke a water pitcher, he gathered his slaves into a barn and calmly chopped the 17-year-old George into pieces, lecturing to the terrified Africans as he tossed each severed limb into the fire, buck breaking. Today, the limbs that are chopped off are financial, record deals, sneaker deals, apparel deals, endorsement, performances, appearances, etc. All now thrown into the fire piece by piece. Certainly when Ye and Kyrie Irving signed their lucrative contracts that respectfully made them a billionaire and a millionaire, they had no idea that there was an invisible plantation era cause that negated any legal terminology on paper, the buck breaking cause. And I wanted to say this because last week we had announced that we were showing this video and having a discussion at Sanger Branch Library, and this is called From Hebrews to Negroes. If you get a chance, the book and the video, part 1 and part 2, is on Amazon right now. And just for whatever reason, no one's urged Jeff Bezos to take it down. There's been no cry to interview the director or the producers of this film, and there's been no attempt to rebut the sources that were used to make this documentary. It's well done, it's well sourced, and it boggles my mind that no one has shown one clip of this documentary to prove whatever point they were trying to make. So last week we had said that we were going to show this documentary at Sanger Branch. So as always, what we do at CSRN, before we announce anything, we do our due diligence by making sure that it's allowable. So we did all of our dotting the I's and crossing the T's and all of that. So we got it approved. However, we received a text, I think maybe yesterday, that said, hey, your event has been canceled. If you have any questions, call this number. So guess what we did? We called the number and they said, hey, listen, Brother Washington, they are not going to let you show this film. All right, so no need for me to know who they are. They have always been them. So what we ended up doing, instead of feeling victimized by what we always know will happen, we're going to show it. We're going to show it December 17th, 1698, Nebraska, 1:30. This is at Muhammad's Mosque, number 91. We asked the brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam, hey, look, this is happening. We were going to have it at the library, but you know how it is. And they said, hey, look, we may not have as many chairs as the seats as the library, but we could at least get half, because we were only allowed 100 seats at the library. And at Muhammad's Mosque, I think that we can fit maybe 50 comfortably in, maybe a few more if it's standing room only. So they were saying, yeah, hey, why not? And they can't cancel us there. So big shout out to the laboring staff of Muhammad's Mosque number 91, our student minister, Edwin Muhammad, our captain of the FOI, Brother Michael Muhammad, the sister captain, the student sister captain, Sister Yvette Muhammad, and everybody else that's willing to secure the building, not only on the inside and the outside, to make sure that everybody that comes there on the 17th will be comfortable, that there will be no backlash from learning about ourselves. So that's going to be on, let's put that up again. All right, December 17th, 1698 Nebraska, 1:30. You can, doors are open at 1. I guess they didn't put that there, but come on, family, be on time because it's a 3-hour documentary. So we're not going to waste any time hemming and hawing, opening it up. All right. It's like, thank you for being here. We hope you bring pen and paper, and we'll say this again maybe next week. I mean, we will say it again next week. But bring pencil and paper to source it out so that when someone says, hey, this film is anti this, you'll be able to say, well, what part, what minute and second are you talking about? And as of right now, no one showed me the minute or the second that they have a problem with. People are more than happy to retweet or screenshot what Kyrie had tweeted, and I'm going to show you what he tweeted. This is what he tweeted. Oh, let's get that thing off of there. Come on, team, help me out. All right, thanks. This is what he tweeted. That's what he tweeted. And for whatever reason, that was a problem. All right. Ye, on the other hand, what he tweeted was something different, but you know, but they were willing to show the tweet that Ye had did. They were willing to show the screenshot of this movie, but no one has shown any clip that is offensive to Muslims, Christians, or whomever. So join us on December 17th, 1:30, Muhammad's Mosque number 91, 1698, Nebraska. All right, we got that out the way. Mother Gordon, let's bring it back from the green room. Mother Gordon, thank you for hanging in there with us. Yeah, we just had to clear the air. We're not perpetual victims. We've always known that the goal line is going to be moved, that the goal post is going to be moved. But you know what? Let's just get our own goal posts. All right, we don't have to goal post.
We don't have to worry about it being moved.
Right. But what we wanted to do, we also wanted to highlight the Lucas County Library, the same library that we had the levy that we voted for. All right, and we championed that. We've had the library signs posted up here for our webcast. So, but I will say this: the librarians that I do know, I know that comes from the head, but it doesn't mean that the people that I work with every week, we stream from Mott Branch Library, and Mott Branch Library does everything to make sure we have the best room, that we have it on time. They even put a little poster up and said CSRN podcast. So for the staff at Mott Branch, the staff at Sanger Branch are always kind to us. So, you know, our response is, okay, you know, that's not the only place in the city that we can show this. All right. So we're still going to show it. And the backlash on this documentary has caused so many people to buy it. You know, Elijah Muhammad would always say every knock is a boost. So by folks coming out against it, made people say, hey, look, I want to see what this is about. So I'm sure the producer and director of that movie was like, "Fine, I hope somebody else don't like it, so they'll give us." All right, it is what it is. All right. So I wanted to get back to this. All right, is let's celebrate Kwanzaa, December 26th to January 1st, and that was a pretty nice poster flyer that I don't know who made it, but that was I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I wanted to talk to you about. There's people that have approached me about bending. One thing about Kwanzaa is we have a lot of people involved. We have some space set aside for vending. Can you talk to everybody, if you don't mind, Mother Gordon, about vending? What is it going to take? Who can
Wait,
vend?
this year we offered one free night for a vendor. These are table vendors. This is not food vendors. These are table vendors where they can bring their own table. If they need additional tables, they need to let us know. And they also need to know and give us a date that they're going to come in, because the setup time for vendors is at 4 o'clock and the doors open at 5. And we want our vendors to be ready when the people come in to purchase, to find out what kind of business they have, what kind of entrepreneurship that they might be looking at, and maybe get some ideas from the vendors. And so we are asking all our local vendors, because they do so much in the community, and they do spend out money to vend. And so we're giving them one free night. But if they want additional night, it will be $35.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I was
But we just need to know if you would like to come on what day and sign up for your free night.
so on this. I do know. And I'm going to mention their businesses while we're talking. Intune Fitness, that's Tanika Camilla. She's on Facebook. She sells all of these natural products. I asked her if she would be willing to vend on the 26th. So I've got her
That's
locked
your
in.
night. That'd be great. That'd be
Right.
great.
I've got my brother Shaheem Hampton. This brother has the best. You can't see my bracelets. All of my bracelets come from this brother. This brother looks like one of the extras on Black Panther. It's a good looking guy. All right. Good looking.
Okay.
And I've got the sister that I met earlier, Tebow's Popcorn. This sister was going to work
Yes.
today, and I'm telling her story because this lady is so excited about her product and what she does. She was making her own popcorn for work, and every day she would come in. They were like, "What is that?" And she like, "Well, it's my popcorn." And she would bring in another flavor, and then she had some type of jalapeno hot flavor, and then she had a Captain Crunch flavor. And she said, "Hey, listen, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you some, and whatever you want to give me for it, fine." And from there, her business took off. And this sister is an awesome lady. She is fired up about having a great product. She was excited about being a part of Kwanzaa. And so I think that this year we are going to have just a excellent Kwanzaa. And you said for all 7 days we're going to do this,
Yes.
right?
Yes. We're going to be there the 26th to the 1st. And we are excited because we're utilizing and promoting a lot of the programs that are at the Frederick Douglass Center. We have a culinary program that the young people are learning how to cook and eat healthy, and they're going to be participating. And also, we have Chef Nate is going to be helping them prepare food for us to taste on the 29th. We have Mr. Mark Lockett. angler. He'll be cooking some really delicious fish for
That's
us on
awesome.
the 30th. And we have Marie's Kitchen, and she's got some dynamic greens and cornbread and some black
That's,
eyed peas.
that's awesome.
And so we're going to have a wonderful time. And we also are excited that Toledo Edison is providing a lot of games and activities for the kids, and they will be talking about job opportunities with Toledo Edison.
Oh, that's great.
And we have our children's services, Lucas County Children's Services, and they love to give out gifts to the kids and now talk about um, making sure we have some homes for those kids who need adoption.
That's right.
And then we also have our um, American exchange students that are going to be speaking to you how they come here and get an education, and they also share their history. And we have them from um, Mozambique, we have them from Ghana, we have them from all over. It's 13 countries that will be introduced this year.
You know
And we also are going to add Kwanzaa line dancing. We got a
what?
Kwanzaa song. Yeah, we're gonna do some line dancing that last night, and the community market is supplying some food for our car move. The last night of Kwanzaa, where we all eat and share together, and so Brother Shahir is going to be supplying some food for us for the Karamu, and we have some other people who are going to be sharing with us some food and opportunities.
Now, my next question is, you've been doing this for quite some time. Do you see a time when there will be no need for Kwanzaa? Is this something that you think we will be doing next year?
Forever.
That's
You
awesome.
know what? Every year we find people are still not familiar. So just like a kindergartner,
Right.
they have to go through the grade, and many of them sometimes slip through the cracks. And so what we know that some of them are slipping through the crack as to being aware or conscious of the contributions of our people. And so it is going to be something that we must continue always to educate our people and move them forward.
My next question is, we are in the political season now. And another frequently asked question about Kwanzaa, and it's awesome that all of these questions I've heard, and when you answer them, it should be gospel because you just can't come behind after Diane Gordon told you. So is Kwanzaa something that only Democrats do? Because I've heard that.
No, no, it's not political. We come to share our culture, our history, and our customs. And this is not a time for politicizing anything. When you come in the door at Kwanzaa, you leave your politics at the door. We don't come in with an agenda of trying to solicit or get votes, because we know that many times they don't come to our churches until they want our vote. They don't
That's
come out until they want our vote. Until we empower ourselves to say no, and that if you want my vote, you're gonna have to pay for it.
that's right.
Our voice needs to be heard. If I give you my vote, I expect you to clean up my city, my neighborhood. I shouldn't have to worry about them on Bancroft and Ottawa Hills getting everything cleaned up.
That's
Every city street in Toledo needs
that's
to be
right.
clean.
That's right. That's right.
So don't bring your stuff up in here talking about political, because we will show you what political looks like.
That's right. While we're talking We'll tell you, you can take the window, you can take the stairs. Either way, all right, we, we'll show you out. Um, okay, it's going to be at the Frederick Douglass. Why the Frederick Douglass? Um, why not the Stranahan? Why not the Valentine? Um,
It's our community, and we're going to support the people and the building that supports us. The Frederick Douglass Center just celebrated 103 years of operation.
yeah,
Our community needs the Douglass Center, and the Douglass Center needs us to support. And so it's been major renovation. We have our new elevator, we have new floors, we have a new gym, we have painting going on. It's so many things that we've done in the last year or so to improve the quality of the
yeah,
building. And
yeah.
so we are excited that we have cameras for security. We have a lighted parking lot. It looks like daylight out there at night.
That's awesome.
And so I think that the way we as our people should think is coming into our community. We shouldn't have to go to the Stranahan to talk about our culture, our custom, or enjoy ourselves. We have it right in our own community. And we should get tired of giving all our money to pay for a building that we have no control over.
You know, it said that we're the only people that blame white people for 99% of our problems, but we spend 95% of our money with them. And at one point, it's going to be on us to stop complaining and do something for ourselves. No,
Yes.
you know,
And I'm going to tell you a good way they can do that this year. When you come to Kwanzaa, we are asking to bring a new pot, a new spoon, measuring cups for our new kitchen. We just installed new freezers and refrigerators and um, microwaves and a new stove and everything, and had the kitchen redone over so that our community can reserve an opportunity to have a hall. And it is absolutely wonderful to say that we have been very blessed to have people who have come and rented out the Douglass Center
that's
and feel very comfortable with the beautiful renovation.
that's great. I know that before the pandemic, nearly all of our programming that we would do for CSRN, we would do at the Doug. And now that I don't want to say things are going back to normal because it's really not, but we can do more now. So I'm looking forward to having some more of our discussions at the Dougs, more of our political forums and community forums at the Doug. And I got to give it up for the board of directors of the Doug because this is a group of people that didn't give up. There was a lot of people, and I tell Brother Reggie Williams, this story of how a few years ago, when it looked like the Doug was on its deathbed, and the Toledo Blade ran a story, the Doug on its deathbed, there was a group of people that invited me to a meeting. And this meeting was about how we were going to let the Doug die.
Yes, that was a plan, but it didn't work.
No, I had to start questioning myself. Why do you ask me to come to this? Why do you come to this?
It
So,
didn't work.
no,
And as a board member myself, and Albert and all the board members are looking for the positive things that we can do. We may not always agree on everything, but we don't have to be disagreeable.
that's
And
right.
we have found ways to move forward without all of the meanness and the nastiness. It doesn't solve the bigger picture is our community and our
That's
young people. The young people need to see that we can do positive things working together.
right, right. Before I let you go, one of the things that Minister Charles had told me was that children are actors and they tend to act out what they see in us as adults. And if you and I can't come together in unity and do something good, who are we to think that our children are going to do the same?
Yes, that is so true.
Right.
So we are encouraging our family and friends and our community to come out and support the Douglas Center and bring your pots and pans and pot holders and aprons and measuring cups and support what we're doing here at the Frederick Douglass Center. And also, I encourage you to do that film or that discussion at the Doug one day.
All right. Hey, it's say less. All right.
Hey, just hey, come on now. Hey, we got more chairs than you got.
Look, and that would be look, all I would need to do for that, because we processed that, but we wanted to just go ahead and get it done. We can always do it again, but I would rent
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Do it again.
we will take up a collection and get a screen for the DVD player and do it. All right.
Wonderful.
Oh,
I'm taking you at your word for that one.
look, when it comes to standing up for our people, even when it's most uncomfortable, I'm not going to say I'm built for that, but I think that's where I shine. And I've had people like you, Ben Williams, Minister Charles Muhammad, and Rahway to help mold me where I can't be anything but strong.
Yes,
I
yes.
I can't be weak. I don't have nothing weak to fall back on. If I can't lean
Right.
to Charles, I lean on you. If I can't lean on you, I lean on Coach Williams. If I can't lean on Coach Williams, I lean on Rahway. I have been nurtured and mentored by the strongest of the strong in this community. And there's only a handful that have not ever backed down. I've got some that are 50-50. I've got some 30. All right. But I thank you for that. Whatever people see in me is because I've seen you do it first. So I
Thank you
want to
so much. And I thank um, CSRN for really continually to stand up, because there's not many people who are willing to put their lives and their selves on the line, because it's not popular to do the right thing always. And hey, I thank you, and I really appreciate all that you guys do. And I know it's difficult sometimes, but we're stronger than they think we are.
yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mother Gordon, and I look forward to
All
seeing
right.
you.
I'm looking forward to it too.
All right, see you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, family, we're going to keep this moving. We have our brother, our secretary, our treasurer of CSRN in the green room. I think he's got one of his books up. If I can get the tech team to at least do something right tonight and bring up our brother, Jody Summers.
What's up, everybody?
All right.
Doing a little Mr. Rogers myself.
All right. Hey, listen, for everybody that's watching, we had Mother Gordon on tonight, brother, and she was like my ride or die co-host. All right, all the way through. It was awesome to have her on. She dispelled all of the misconceptions and lies about Kwanzaa. All right, because I get a lot of stuff, and I'm so glad that she was on. So, for those who may not know you, all right, we've got quite a few first-time visitors, first-time viewers. Our last few podcasts are going into the hundreds of people that are watching what we're doing. Hopefully, we'll be going into the thousands and up and up. But who are you? What are you wearing? And why is consistency in doing what we're doing so important to you?
Well, what's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I'm the treasurer of this wonderful organization that is about to turn 8 years. I caught the tail end of what Mama Gordon was saying. For those of you out there, I'm a poet, author, illustrator, filmmaker, elected official. I run several nonprofits around the city, and currently, what I kind of look like right now, I work at a restaurant called Tony Paco's. I'm one of the cooks here, and it does everything. Every now and then, you guys see me in person and on the show, but again, you can't do everything. As most of the country knows right now, people that want to work are in short supply, really. A lot of the online stuff is taking away that, but to get your food, to get your groceries and all that, you have to have people working in the store. So today, this week, I'm not sure about next week, but I'm here taking my lunch break to make sure I can get on, talk to y'all, communicate, see what's going on. And I have to watch the show back later to see what all the jewels that Miss Gordon dropped. But again, I caught the last couple of minutes of it as I was sitting here reading one of my books, and even a new book that I got today from a local author named Amber Williams. And this one is her first book called King Everything. And she has another book under, I believe it's her maiden name, Amber Johnson. So if you go on Amazon, look for those books. They're all my author friends. I'm learning all the buttons as I just finished.
Yes, sir.
The publication on my 10th book. Number 11 is going into the editorial process in New York. Shout out to New Yorican. Shout out to New Yorican. I'm trying to have a little stand here because I know when I move around, Brother Washington gets on me saying that the feed cuts out. So
right.
But yeah, for those of you out there watching, we thank you. You didn't get the intro of my lovely voice doing our mission statement and stuff today, but that is our foundation. That's why I'm here now instead of taking a lunch break saying, hey, I want to get on social media and talk about people. No, don't do that. I'm out here making sure that people get engaged. Like you say, even though I'm at work, taxable, Uncle Sam needs his dividends in some way or another. I can have people come up here to pick up Black Santa Claus boxes or my books. Or
that's right.
For those of you listening on Spotify, YouTube, or on Facebook, hopefully you're listening. If you're driving and not trying to watch your screen or your phone, I'm a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones from my travels of doing all that previous stuff. Again, what I'm wearing is apron. You got to keep it clean. And my hat, which is my brand. My artwork did so much. It not only became clothing, but the character in my artwork is the illustrator in my next book, which makes him a real person. And hopefully it invites some people to write their own publications if an imaginary character that used to live in my head is now a world-selling Beth author.
Oh, wow.
I am freeze. I'm just giving a moment for everybody to enjoy that. How's the show been, Brother Washington?
Oh, real good, real good. We have Mother Gordon did an excellent job of really letting us know what Kwanzaa is, what Kwanzaa isn't, and we should have a really great Kwanzaa this year. And also, I talked about the from Hebrews to Negroes. I said this because yesterday we got a text from the Lucas County Library stating that our event is canceled. However, right, just because. However, we had spoke with the brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam, and they said, "Hey, look, show it at the Final Call building." So,
Okay.
so we just switch it up. All right, we'll show it there. And to add to that, Mother Gordon said, "Hey, listen, after you show it there, let's set it up at the Doug. The Doug
Okay.
has more seats than the library. The Doug has more seats than the Muhammad's Mosque number 91. So it's all good."
Good.
And look, also, those are the things that we expect, but we were given Lucas County Library an opportunity to practice some of that diversity stuff. We were giving them an opportunity to make good on that levy that we were, promoting. And,
Right.
and this has nothing to do with the staff at Sanger or the staff here at Mott. Both of those,
It's upper levels. I mean, we understand. Again,
they live,
our author there, where you're at right now, Mott, she just had a book signing Sunday. So
so
it's not about the people. It's about the organizations and structures that bind them together.
but we don't stop. Quit. All right. We don't stop. We don't quit. So it's all good. And here's another good thing out of that. Here's a silver lining is that I'm glad that if they wanted to do something like that, that they did it yesterday instead of allowing us to promote and then tell us on the 16th.
Right.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. That gives me time to switch it up. It saves us so much money from printing flyers up because we had started printing flyers and putting them in the barbershop. Matter of fact, when we went to Senior Bridge, one of our flyers was in here. So it's all good, and we were ready with a contingency plan just in case. All right. So it is what it is. And we keep it pushing. And I'll switch on our page, I'll switch up the location on our page so that everyone will know, but it ain't no love loss. All right. Love loss at all. We got our own stuff. All right. So those were the things that we processed today, along with a couple of articles from the Final Call newspaper regarding buck breaking. And sometimes these things happen to really test our resolve to see if things don't go our way. What are we going to do? Are we going to break down? Am I going to be crying in your arms? All right. Or are we going to say, hell, we got more supporters. We got more sympathizers. Just switch it up and do what we do. So that was a test also to see if we were really about that. Because if we weren't, we'd be crying that we don't have a place, that we can't do it. They're not letting us. No, we were giving them an opportunity of joining us. However, it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. We got other places.
Yeah, and again, that's good. It's a library. I understand that too. It's a place of knowledge, and you shouldn't have. I can see some of the gears turning about controversy and stuff, and that's cool. Again, that's where we got the mosque. That's where we got the Doug. That's why we got other community centers and stuff to do stuff that is our own. And I don't slight them in any way because they've done more than enough for the community to have a chance to say, hey, this ain't our race. We good. Nothing against y'all, but So I take it as that, as stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a week, hasn't it?
Yep. And I said this last night at the mosque. I said it's an honor to do things and have opposition.
Mm-hmm.
It's an honor to stand up and feel that opposition, knowing that you've got brothers and sisters in the community that got your back. Some people will never know what that's like to be told no and you've got a couple of backup plans.
Right.
So yes, sir, that puts us in good company. Now, look, before I go any further, I wanted to bring something on the screen. What is this? Okay, this says that your all-time photo views is 2,057,950.
That was 5 days ago. I have a reach of about 4,000 views a day now. It's kind of like a snowball effect that, yeah, I posted that because at the beginning of the year, before I really just stopped posting so much on social media and using my Google. When you get a phone, if you have an Android or even an iPhone, they have a service in there. When you take a photo, you can choose to kind of map out your world. And for the last, I can't even remember when, all my photos kind of, if you see me somewhere, I've taken 100 to 200 photos and maybe several videos. It used to get filtered through social media. Now I just let it sit. I also give, if I go to your restaurant, I'm one of those people that give those reviews. If I go to your business, I'm one of those people that give that review to say if it's a good place, if it's a trashy place. I take photos. I try and engage with the people as much as possible, and people seem to like it. I started this year at 489,000 views. So that's over 1.5 million views in less than a year.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. That's awesome. Listen, what is it about you? When did you, because I don't think I've got 100 views. All right. When did you know that this was possible?
Um,
or did it happen?
I guess around the time they started sending me 400,000 people have seen your stuff, and it didn't click until maybe about a month later, and I started shortening my content or time on social media. And although now, since March, I've been a monetized paid platform, not just for myself, but the other several businesses that I own. But theirs is built on more short content. And I don't know, I just started paying attention to my notifications instead of, oh, yeah, 75 people viewed your thing. And I don't know, I'm not a person for attention. That's why I created my thumb and the staff and letting you see my surroundings versus trying to take selfies. I only take selfies when there's other people in the picture because I'm not the star here. You taking that moment to get a book or to get some art or even to come to one of my performances makes you important because you didn't have to, you could have been anywhere else. So I took that model and used it with what I do. I travel a lot. I perform a lot of places. I go to a good amount of community stuff, and people get there and they don't take photos. They are happy and they may make a post or two. Hey, me and my friends, but
yeah, I'm that person. All right,
but it's a lot. And since I'm also a city planner, another one of my many hats, I want to make sure that when you hear, oh, Toledo just had a sinkhole on the north end, you also hear Toledo just did this book bag giveaway or this food giveaway or this artist talk. That stuff never really gets highlighted. So if I have to be the one to do it, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I was at a rave. I do those too. Rave EDM show over the weekend, thanks to Bucky Wood Entertainment and stuff. And that's why my artwork is light reactive, because I went to those shows and saw those people while everybody was saying that's the crazy kids with glow sticks. No, they're just people that want to have fun, their specific type of fun. Not every place that you hear a bad story about, just like with us. Some people turned it into a corporation and ruined it. But then there's us who still believe in the grassroots thing. I'm not going to turn myself into the same type of cog that's ruining society right now.
That's right. So one of my questions that I've always wanted to ask you, all right, we do a lot of social justice and community activism. How do you balance that and do all the other things that you do? Because you're not just a angry guy all the time. Now, we can get upset about things, but how is it that you were able to diversify what you do, but also stand true to the social justice causes and standing up for truth?
I'm a crazy artist. I
Awesome.
think art and activism and wanting to find oneself is a big part of all of that. People go into activism maybe not for themselves, but to empathize with someone else. And that's really all art is an inward look at the traumas that you're dealing with, the things, the injustices that you want to leave to future generations. So if I feel that I've gotten up in somebody's face too much, I'm gonna go draw a picture, make a poem, tune into some type of movie that's not pre-programmed or woke, which I really hate that word now, to distance myself. Also, I'm a Buddhist, so I'm with my community, but I'm not the individual like, hey, let's go kick it with everybody, because I can't. I have responsibilities not only to myself, my mental health, but to people like this who write their first books
That's
and don't need some celebrity telling them it's all about the money, because then you lost the message. The money will come. The notoriety will come. I'm just now finding Toby Nicole. Well, anyway, and that's only because I paused. Trap rap, all that other stuff is what I grew up on, and then I hear his stuff, and it's like church, but it's not like church because he's not trying to evangelize you. He's letting us like that roots of music and our culture and movement and being people, not things that go to work.
that's right. Beautiful. 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 Hey, look, it is.
I know they're about to start flicking the lights off on you there. So, um, today, because she came and picked up a couple of my books today, eventually they'll go on the page and stuff. But again, Google saw them first. So you can pick book one, book two, or book three. Which one do you want to see a piece out of?
I'm going to go with book two. I've always liked the book cover.
Yeah, and this one has a hardcover you can find on Barnes Nobles. But you know, things as I've been a published author since 2015. I'm on my 10th book. I did 5 anthologies this year, but you learn so much more stuff. So I'm going to randomly flip through here and pick a piece. This book in particular, is a book of sevens. It's 7 chapters, 7 quotes, and 77 pieces.
Oh, wow.
73 of them, no, 74 of them are poems. 3 of them are short stories that connect back to the first book, but you don't have to read the first book to get the story.
Okay.
So now you can see.
All right.
Trying to get this camera right. So,
Good.
okay, let's do this one. It's called Good Afternoon. If you get the book, you can go on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. This is page 40 in the paperback, published March 1st, 2017. So let's begin. Peace. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Well, it's time for me to get off this couch. I really must leave this house. I have bills to pay and people to see, ideas to inspire and dreams of better things. So it's time that I got out of this house. Nobody but me to accomplish the things that I need to see to make sure I don't wind up on somebody else's couch. I must stop looking at this screen, which sits here and devours me while life is outside of my house. Nobody to blame but me, myself, and I if I do not put down my phone and get out of this house. Sleep can put a lot of things into perspective, like all those emotions that you thought you had just a few hours ago, or that thing that you misplaced that was staring you in the face. You just need a moment of rest to clear your mind and let it go. You'll find it once you recharge and rebalance, your batteries are no longer low. Anyway, I'm up. I always have a lot to do, but that's just the routine for me. I've been moving for so long, I honestly forgot to look back and see what I've done. I get that through all the people that I know, even though I talk about relationships a lot, but don't we all on some level? You are either in one, searching for one, no longer comfortable, or without one. I know my writing does not have the correct punctuation most of the time, but it's not something you have to buy or spend any unnecessary time on. If you do not want to read, please don't criticize me. You're here talking to me, not an autocorrect. I know what I said, or at least I know what I meant. Well, this is getting longer than I thought it would be, so I will just say this. My life has always been stuck in one gear, moving forward, through obstacles, walls, barriers, oceans, mountains, gravity, and death. My side view mirrors are very small, and I rarely use the rear view mirror. My vehicle did not come equipped with turn signals, so you just have to take chances with me. If you decide to become a passenger with me as we take this journey called life, please buckle up, grab the stick shift, but be gentle and remind me when it's time to hit the brake. You are all well protected, though. The tread is reinforced by all those that close their doors. The windows and doors are all armor plated, manufactured by the twist of fate called my life. You can even pick the radio station if you like. As we move on down the road, there's plenty of storage space because I keep no baggage of my own. Just a little blue box by the spare tire I used to call my home. Room for passengers, and yes, your family must come too. I don't know where the road ends, but I would be happy to find it with you. I'm done. That's how most of my poems actually start out. I started thinking about one thing and then history and peace.
All right, and as always, we snap our fingers. You never hear us giving any type of applause for that, but we'll stop that. Hey, listen, Jody, I wanted to just say this before we just close on out because we really got to get out of here.
Yeah.
If you like what we do, subscribe to our page, like it, share it, leave us a comment, and you can really help us out by subscribing to our Facebook. Not our Facebook, our YouTube channel, Community Solidarity Response Network. If you like what we're doing, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, listen to us on Spotify and YouTube. If you want to support us, you can support us via Cash App with the cash tag CSRN 419. And if you want to support us via PayPal, that's CSRN 419. Hey, look, we got to get out of here, Jody. And I'm going to end with the tagline. You always know that, listen, all lives can't matter until what?
Black lives matter.
And black lives can't matter until?
All black lives matter.
Justice or else?
Yay, yay.
Peace.